that's 80s because I feel like that song was on Night at the Roxbury.
Oh, probably.
Wasn't it?
But was it Night at the Roxbury in the 90s?
Oh, it may have been. It may have been like I almost said a period piece. It might have been just like another one of the 1,000. Remember the 80s movies?
Yeah, it says released in 1993.
Night at the Roxbury or that song?
No, that song was.
Oh, okay. Sorry about all the shuffling around sounds, everybody.
What a weird time. That was like a weird, like, in-between disco 90s still. Like, disco made like a sort of a quasi comeback.
Well, disco is like... I always associated disco with the 80s. But it's actually a 70s thing.
I've always thought it was the 70s because when I see that, I see like the big, like, suits.
The zoot suits?
Yeah, with like the platform shoes.
Yeah. Everybody was really, really skinny.
Yeah, because they were all really, really high.
Everybody was on fucking coke.
Well, as far as like, what was the studio? It was like Studio 56 or something like that. It was like the disco studio that everybody go to.
Yeah, that was like a nightclub.
It was like it was New York?
Harlem, wasn't it?
Was it in Harlem?
I think so. Yeah, that was a real famous one that burnt down. Yeah. It was studio something like that.
Yes. Yeah, but like I think that was like where like most of like the. I don't know if like that's where it started, but I think that's what's like disco is like associated with as far as like a nightclub is concerned.
Yeah. Disco, to me, whenever I think disco, I think of Extremely Goofy movie when when they're dancing in that club or whatever. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was the second one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when he goes off to
college. Yeah.
Autumn loves that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good movie. Yeah.
She really likes that movie.
Yeah. It was, so I think Goofy movie, like the first Goofy movie came out in theaters. It was like a theatrical release, like a Disney movie release. But I think an Extremely Goofy movie was one of those like straight to VHS type deals. The second one's better than the first one, in my opinion.
I think so, too.
The Extremely Goofy movie is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always remember like the opening scene of the first movie where he's like out in that like wheat field or whatever, and he like transforms into his dad is the scariest fucking thing. It terrified the shit out of me as a kid. I couldn't watch that scene.
Was it? There was like the I remember that scene. I remember the scene where was it like what was it? It was like Bigfoot was like a Bigfoot dance scene or something like that.
Yeah, he like stole their like little like Walkman or whatever, and he was like dancing around while they were trying to like eat soup in the car.
He like popped the cigarette thing up and like set it on the can.
Yeah.
You know how long that would fucking take?
It also wouldn't work.
It would
just like the soup would not get warm.
It would just make the can a little bit warm on the bottom.
I mean, we don't have to complain about the reality plot holes in that Goofy movie.
It's about a dog. It's about a dog that drives a car with his dog's son.
I think there was some speculation as to whether or not Goofy was actually a dog or not. I've heard people say that Goofy is a cow.
No.
He's definitely a dog.
He's definitely a dog.
But then it's like, but Pluto's a dog.
Yeah, that is weird.
But he's like a dog. Yeah. It'd be like if you went over to your friend's house and there was like a naked man. A naked man on all fours.
Yeah, I fucked this guy.
I love him.
Did we talk about that on the last podcast, or was that when we were on vacation we were talking about that?
I think we've talked about it a couple times.
That is, like, as far as, like, comedy movies are concerned, that's, like, the last great.
Really? You think so?
Like, I don't really... There was, like, just so many punchlines, like, just the whole time.
Yeah.
It sort of reminded me of, like, Step Brothers, where it's just constant punchlines.
Constant, yeah.
As opposed to, like a lot of people, like, the last great comedy movie is The Hangover. And The Hangovers I like The Hangover.
Yeah, Hangover's okay. Yeah.
It's okay, but, like, This Is the End was just, like, punchlines, like, the entire fucking... Yeah. And I like that cast more.
Right, yeah. Yeah, Danny McBride.
I'm partial to that cast.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of like our oh fuck, what did they call those? What did they call those kids in the 80s? Not the Dream Team. It was like not the Rat Pack. Those were the singers.
Like, Sinatra.
I can't think of what it is. The Brat Pack.
Yeah.
The Brat Pack. That's like our Brat Pack.
No.
Yeah. So my favorite, for some reason, that just the way that Channing Tatum delivers that line is so fucking funny. When he's in the little gimp outfit, and he just pulls that mask off. He goes, "I love him." It's so funny.
It was such a good movie.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
We watched
the part where Jonah Hill wakes up. He's like, "Guys, something totally not cool happened last night." That big fucking cock.
What was he saying? I'm jerking off like a pilgrim.
Yeah, he's like, you got fucking iPads in the wall and shit, and I'm having to jerk my dick like a fucking pilgrim.
I love Danny McBride. He's so funny.
He was so good in Eastbound and Down Here.
Yeah.
You watch that show?
I watched it a little bit. I've seen like clips and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's on HBO, but yeah, if you ever get a chance, you got to watch it from like the entire way through. We
watched, you were talking about the pacing of the comedy in that movie. It reminded me, we watched the Elvis movie on Netflix. Have you seen it yet?
Mm-mm.
So the only reason it makes me think of it is because of pacing. That movie is lightning fast. Like it does not take a breath.
Yeah.
It is constantly just shit happening, constant. It never slows down.
Yeah.
It slows down a little bit at the end where they let Elvis and his wife kind of have like a moment together in the car. But that's it. That's the only place where it like kind of takes a step back because like we were watching it and we ended up having to pause the movie for some reason. And when we paused it, we were like 45 minutes into it. And I was like, I could have swore we were at the end of this movie because so much shit has occurred.
Did they go like over him going to the White House like high as fuck and doing karate in front of the president?
Oh man, no, they didn't touch on that. But they did. They captured. He got fucked over by his manager real hard.
Yeah.
And his manager was like not even like a U.S. citizen or something. He was like I forget what they called him, but he was like he didn't really belong to any kind of nation.
No.
He actually started out as like a carny. He was like a carny guy, talent guy. He would round up all the carnival talent.
Yeah.
And he found Elvis, and he was that, and him and Elvis were, he had Elvis by the balls until that man died.
Yeah.
It's really, the movie does a good job of showing just how fucked up it was. But when we were watching it, we had the subtitles on, and there was a part where like one like carny like said something to another carny, and it said. The subtitle said speaks, I think it said carnish or something like that. Yeah, something along those lines. But carnival workers have their own language.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Let me see if
even to this day?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Let me Google it.
I just figured they're just fucking all high on meth and just like,
that's probably a big part of it.
They're just all on speed.
Yeah. Let's see. Khazarni. It's called Khazarni, yeah. It says it's not technically a language per se, but an argot, sort of like Pig Latin. Basically what it is so that they can speak to one another about things in the presence of like all the marks.
Yeah.
And at the peak, people who go to the carnival.
Right.
So they can talk, like, hey, this guy's got like $20 in his pocket or something like that. Yeah.
You know that professional wrestling started like in the carnivals.
That makes a lot of sense.
And what used to happen is that you would have guys that did like amateur wrestling. So like guys that did like Greco-Roman wrestling, like the type that like they do in the Olympics and everything.
Yeah.
And so what they would do is you would have this guy. And there was never like professional wrestling. There's professional wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and if I'm getting this wrong, somebody shoot us an email and let me know. But from what I understand is that they would bring this guy out, and it was just like, see if you can pin Mighty Man, or like whatever, Shoeless Joe, and
Boris the Bear,
and then people would come down, and you'd have like people, of course, like nobody would win against this guy, but if somebody did win. Like, they'd be like, oh, like, this guy's got some talent.
Yeah.
And they'd be like,
offer him a job.
Yeah, why don't you come with us and we'll tour around and you can become famous. You're not going to make any money. You're a fucking carny. But so, and then from there, like, they were like, we're getting to hurt, like, actually wrestling people. So they turned it into a show.
Right, yeah.
And so
that makes a lot of sense. People, because it obviously was popular, people still watch it to this day.
Well, it's not what it once was, right? I think everybody, even like it was like the worst kept secret.
Right.
Was it? It's fucking. It's
a show.
It's a show. I don't want to say that it's fake because the bumps that they take are definitely not fucking
Those
fake.
Those are for real.
Those are for fucking real. Like when Mankind got power bombed.
Yeah. There was no way to fake that. There was no faking that. That happened. And his tooth shut up through his gum into his nostril. Yeah. It's the scripting is all that's written. Like who is the bad guy? Who is
who's the
what
heel?
They call the heel?
Who's the baby face?
Right.
And like we're gonna give you like here's gonna be your arc.
Yeah.
And then here's how the arc is gonna finish.
Right. I think a lot of the creative liberties left up to the actors.
Right. Yeah. Like we have a direction that we want you to go. Yeah. From what I've heard, just from some interviews that I've seen with like the current talent, is that there's so much money involved now. Yeah. Where they're like, you can't just go out there and just fucking say whatever you want. Yeah. Like that's why you're not seeing these great promos. Yeah. Like Macho Man Randy Savage used to have, or like Hulk Hogan used to have, or like even like you see some of the Ric Flair stuff. Yeah. But I mean, even like in the 90s, you had like Stone Cold Steve Austin and like The Rock. Like they would both cut really good promos because they'd hype the crowd up. Right. Yeah. Where now it's like they go out there and they have to like remember the lines and like say the lines, but you can tell like it's not
as like natural. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just remembered lines. Like we have these things that we want you to hit. Don't deviate from this.
Right. Yeah. Here's the script.
Right. Yeah. Like we have to make sure that it's okay with the
advertisers and the producers and all. Yeah. I mean, you look at like those old like Macho Man promos. You could tell he was just ad libbing. Oh yeah. And like also very, very, very violently high. Oh yeah. One of my all-time favorite ones is with him and as Mean Gene Okerlund, and he was talking about how he was the cream of the crop, and he just kept pulling out creamers. He just kept pulling out creamers, and he was like handing them to Gene. He pulled out like 30 of them. Oh man.
Even like some of the storylines, like they don't go as hard as they used to. No. Like there was one, I remember.
They would work in shit that happened in their personal lives.
Yeah. So there was one where the Big Show, you know who the Big Show is? Yeah. Like they like did a thing where like his dad died. Yeah. And then they were like at like the funeral, like filming like the Big Show at the funeral, and he's like sitting there like crying and everything. And then the guy who he's like having a feud with like comes up and puts chains around the casket and drives off as like dragging the casket behind the truck. And the Big Show's like, no, and he like runs and like jumps on the casket, it's like riding it, and he like rolls off.
That's so fucking ridiculous.
Guy just drives off with the fucking casket.
That's so fucking ridiculous. Oh my god, it's so dumb.
Whereas, like, like guys are just doing like lines of fucking coke, and they're like, "Boy, do I have an idea for you!"
The best idea ever. I always liked Andre the Giant, just because like he was such a marvel of humanity.
Oh yeah,
like just how big that man was. Yeah. Like I remember I was watching a documentary about him, and they were just talking about how like the amount that he would drink.
Oh yeah,
Like, because he couldn't get drunk.
a fucking
It
keg.
took so much for him to feel a buzz that he would just drink constantly, like it was nothing. He drank beer like it was water.
Yeah.
And they showed, like, there's this famous picture of him, like, holding a can of beer in his hand, and it looks like a fucking, like a toy or something. It's like, it doesn't even, like, it's like this big in his hand. Right. But he was like, I think he lived in France, like some village in France. Mm-hmm. And he
had giantism, didn't he?
Yeah, he had I think it's called acromegalia. And I can't remember how he got found, but he was doing farm work. Yeah,
I think that there's a ESPN documentary on him.
Yeah,
where they like go over.
Yeah.
The different stuff.
But he ended up, I think he died, like he was like in his 40s or something.
He wasn't, I think that was
he
before.
was never going to live.
No, and I think that was before they had the surgery that they do to stop the pituitary gland from
doing that
to somebody. Yeah. Whereas, like, I think there's some people, I think even the guy that does the Big Show, I think he had that surgery.
Yeah.
Like, where they're like, we have to stop it. Like,
you had to quit growing.
Yeah, you have to stop growing. But there was like there's an interview that Joe Rogan did with I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jake the Snake, and he was talking about how when they would go, because with wrestlers, like, they travel everywhere, like,
right.
So they're constantly staying in hotel rooms. Mm-hmm. I was talking about Andre the Giant was so big that he couldn't sit on the toilet. He was breaking the toilets. It's like just cracking them, and like they'd be on the floor. So he had to shit in the shower. And then turn the shower on and wash it down the shower. Oh, my God. Because he's too big.
And Andre the Giant sized shit.
And they were talking about, like when he'd lay in the bed, like, it was, his knees would hang off the end of the bed and how fucking big he was. Yeah. And they were just like, he's just fucking uncomfortable. Like,
everywhere
the fucking time.
He went.
Everywhere he went was just fucking uncomfortable.
The entire world that he inhabited was like 2 sizes too small for him.
Right.
Yeah. It was amazing. It's amazing that he, didn't go fucking insane.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's just, everywhere he went, he was uncomfortable. And, like, he probably would have lived a little longer were it not for the drinking and for the lifestyle he chose. But he did what he wanted to do.
Right. Well, I think if you're kind of, like, dealt that hand, like, you kind of have to make a decision.
Yeah.
It's like, either, like, you can extend your life like another 5 fucking years.
Yeah, big fucking whoop.
Yeah, and
5 years of nothing.
Yeah, live in fucking excruciating pain.
Yeah.
It's like, or you can go over here and make a whole bunch of fucking money.
Fuck hookers and do coke.
He's just got like a fucking basketball size, just like ball of coke. And it's like
just right into his face, like a clown pie somebody. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine, like, just not fitting anywhere.
No.
Because I remember, like, the documentary that I watched about him, he had kind of confided in one of his friends about how, like, he's never had, like, any kind of rest because he can't. There's nothing comfortable. He's like, even if he like, they lay him out on, like, all these pillows and cushions and stuff, like, his joints and his back and his spine just constantly hurt him.
No.
And it was like, well, no wonder he fucking drank all the goddamn time.
Right. To try to numb some of the fucking pain.
Yeah. I like that one story of him where those dudes were fucking with him in a bar, and he chased him outside, and they got in their car, and he lifted their car up and put it on its side. I just couldn't imagine, like, if you got the guy actually mad at you and he just, like, put his hand on your head. He just, like, oh my God.
He, like, picks you up.
Like a claw machine. You just fucking squish your head.
He, like, picks you up like this.
And twist your head off like a knob. Apparently he had terrible teeth.
Oh yeah,
because he wouldn't let anybody work on his teeth.
No,
it freaked him out.
He's probably like, I got enough fucking going on.
Yeah, I don't need you fucking with my face. I don't need
you fucking with my teeth.
Yeah. Like, I watched Princess Bride not long ago. He's in that movie. Mm-hmm. For some reason, he doesn't look as big in that movie. That movie doesn't do a good job, I feel, of portraying how large he actually was.
Right.
I think it was because they had to fit him on screen with other actors.
Right. Whereas, like, you got him, and then who's the guy that plays, like, the mastermind or whatever? Where he's like does like all the riddles and everything. He's in a couple of other movies.
It's not. I wanted to say it's not Rick Moranis and it's not Paul Giamatti.
See, I was gonna say Paul Giamatti, but I know that's not right. I can't. What other movies has he been in? He's been in a couple.
He's talking about the guy that goes inconceivable.
Yeah,
that guy.
He always looks like a frog to me.
Yeah, he plays like a very he's very like he's typecasted as like a smarmy little like. He does a lot of voice work. I know he voices.
Yeah, that might be where I remember him from.
He voices the T-Rex in Toy Story.
Oh yeah, that is right. Maybe that's where I remember him from.
Is it Mel Smith?
Is that who it is?
Maybe. I don't know. Or Chris Sarandon. I don't know. This should be an easy. Yeah, it's this guy right here. That guy right there. Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't figure out what his name is.
But yeah, I think he's done he's either been in some other movies or he's like done some voice work where I remember him from. Like I feel like if you're gonna be in Hollywood, that'd probably be the route to go. Would just be like voice work. I don't think that I would want to do like acting.
Wallace Shawn is his
Wallace
name.
Shawn?
Yeah. Wallace Shawn. Right there.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, voice acting is like the gig.
Yeah.
Because like you just kind of fucking show up in like your civvies. They put you in just like an air conditioned room.
Yeah.
Read these lines. You got it. Spell my name right on the check. We're done here.
Yeah, and you probably don't get invited out to islands.
Well, yeah. There's a
you have to go to like the shittier island. Like it's just like all a bunch of like old women, like in like their 90s. Yeah.
The Cougar Isles. Oh fuck! What was I about to talk about? Voice actors. What was I talking about?
Voice actors, islands.
Oh, so I used to listen to this podcast called Sleepy Cast or Sleepy Cabin, and it was a bunch of YouTubers that I followed.
Yeah.
Like there was a bunch of animators is what it was. They did a podcast together, and one of the guys on the podcast, his name was Rice Pirate. Mm-hmm. He did. I'm trying to think of some of the animations he did that you might have seen. I can't. Nothing's coming to mind right now. But anyway, he does. He's a professional voice actor now.
No.
But
he used to do animation.
He used to do animation stuff. So he was telling the story one time, and it's kind of weird to recount somebody else's story. But like, he was talking about he went to this gig to go record some lines, and there was another guy there like waiting to record his lines or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were kind of chatting with each other. And the guy he was talking to was the guy that voiced Red Man from Cow and Chicken.
Oh yeah.
So you can hear that voice.
Yeah,
He's done a ton of stuff. He was like a big name in the voice acting scene. And so Mick or Rice Pirate was like talking to the guy, and the guy was like, "Yeah, he's been humble." He's like, "I've done some voice acting before." And Mick was like, "I bet you have." It's like just being kind of, like, "Sure, buddy," kind of like that. Anyway, like later that day, like he tweeted out, he realized who he was.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh fuck, that dude's like a legend." And so he tweeted out, he was like, "Had a great opportunity to work with the wonderful so and so today." Yeah. And then somebody else responded to his tweet and was like, "Well, that's pretty cool." And that guy liked the response tweet and not.
Man, talk about feeling like shit.
Yeah.
I remember there's been like a couple stories about like Robin Williams when like like he would come like to talk to somebody, and people would just like have no clue who the fuck he is.
Really?
He's like in regular fucking clothes, had like a big beard.
Yeah.
And he just
I feel like he'd be pretty recognizable. Robin Williams.
Well, I mean, he's probably like wearing sunglasses, like a hat. And,
Oh yeah. He was one of the ones, the first ones that were like, you know, he didn't want to set the precedent of actors doing voice acting roles because like there's a whole sect of people who do that. They are voice actors. Obviously that didn't stick because they have fucking regular actors voice shit all the time now, like fucking Chris Pratt voicing Mario.
No,
he did a fine job. He did okay.
No,
but it was like, but why Chris Pratt?
No,
yeah. I
mean, I get understand the angle that they were going for. Like in the movie,
marketability.
For because I mean, he didn't like do the accent the whole time.
Yeah,
like he did like a version of his voice.
Yeah,
it wasn't just Chris Pratt talking.
Yeah,
you know.
And it was also like, you know, you couldn't have Charles Martinet voice the entire thing. You couldn't listen to Mario talk that way for an hour and a half.
Right. Well, it's funny because like you can kind of tell it's Chris Pratt, but he changes his voice enough that like if you're not paying attention, like you're not actively like I'm listening to Chris Pratt talk right now.
Right. Yeah. He's not like Gilbert Gottfried,
right?
Who sticks out like a sore thumb.
But who's the guy from Always Sunny?
Charlie Day.
But Charlie died immediately.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's fucking Charlie Day.
Yeah, there's no mistaking that. But his voice worked really well for Luigi.
For Luigi, it did work well. But the whole time, I'm just like, I'm just listening to Charlie Day
talk. This is just Charlie Day.
Like, this might as well just be like an animated version of Always Sunny.
One of my favorite voice actors is Keith David. He voiced Arbiter in the Halo games. Mm-hmm. He just has such a good low like almost kind of wise sounding old man voice or whatever. I always liked him, and I've always liked Billy West, who does Fry from Futurama. Oh yeah, and the Red M&M.
Oh yeah, I guess those are the two.
It's the exact same voice. The Red M&M and Fry is the exact same voice. J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man.
Yeah, and he never changes his voice.
That's just J.K. Simmons, yeah. But his voice works really well for Omni-Man.
Which is funny because he is in the Spider-Man movies. He plays the exact same character in all
J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah, he plays Jameson in every single one of those trilogies.
Yeah.
He says the same.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. He's like, they didn't, like, from the Sam Raimi ones to, like, the Andrew Garfield ones to, like, the current Tom Holland ones, they always picked him to play.
I mean, who else are you going to pick?
Yeah, Jameson.
Yeah.
Who else would it be? No one else could ever have that role.
Right. I heard apparently with the new Deadpool movie that's coming out, that like they cut like 30 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the reasoning is behind it.
Yeah.
But I think there was like 30 minutes of like scenes that were cut out of the movie.
I think that's pretty typical nowadays for large chunks of movies to get cut. I think they just film so much shit. Like, I think that they're filming at the same time they're writing. I think that's what's happening. Because it seems to me like they get kind of like a half a script, and then they just go right into production.
Right.
And they're like, okay, we'll figure it out as we go along.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I think with Deadpool, it's a little bit different just because Ryan Reynolds is involved with it, and he's worked so fucking hard to get that project off the ground.
Just to even happen the first time.
Right. Which is amazing to me, like how that movie did so well at the box office.
It did so well.
And the second one did pretty well too. Mm-hmm. It's like, and then it's like and like the whole time they're just like, we don't want this movie.
Yeah.
And like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like you have this movie that's making all this fucking money.
Obviously somebody wants to go see it.
Yeah, obviously like there is a large portion of the population that wants to see this movie.
And I like that it's kind of like an X-Men movie because then you get to see characters like Cable.
Right.
And Juggernaut. And it's like, those are characters otherwise you would never see in a movie.
Like some other characters that are part of that universe, Like, they kind of get on screen a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, those are, like, secondary characters. Like, you're not going to see those.
Right, yeah.
In, like, because they keep wanting to bring up fucking Jean Grey all the fucking time.
Yeah, what is the obsession with Jean Grey? Like, all of the X-Men movies, like, it's got to be about Jean Grey. It has to be.
Yeah.
Like, why?
See, I guess, and I don't really remember. I remember, like, some of the cartoon, like, growing up. And I always remember it more centering around Cyclops and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like, those were, like, the two.
And Rogue a lot.
Yeah, and I think that was a little bit later.
Yeah.
I think, like, the 80s version of, like, the show. I think Cyclops and Wolverine were, like, the two characters.
The 80s version was the one that had Rogue with the green and yellow outfit.
Yeah.
Right? And she had, like, the brown hair with, like, the white stripe.
Yeah.
She was so hot. That was, like, one of my first, like, cartoon crushes was her.
Which is, I mean, I can't remember if she's going to be in this one or not.
I think they should. I mean, that's a cool character.
Right. Well, I mean, the X-Men universe is all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's at right now.
The last, like, X-Men movie I watched, I think, was Logan. If you can even count that. Because I did not watch... What's the one? There was one where, like, a mummy came to life or something. And, like, that... And the girl that plays Sansa Stark played Jean Grey in that one.
That one was...
It's like X-Men Annihilation or something like that. Is that right?
Was it that one or was it Dark Phoenix?
Or Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix is one. There's like at least 3 of them I have not watched.
I get those all so confused because they did like a crossover between them and like the old cast.
They just kind of run together.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, like, I've seen X-Men, the first X-Men movie, which is a god-awful movie.
It's bad.
And then, like, X2 and I think X3. And then I think after X3, they were like, okay, the only person anybody gives a shit about is Wolverine.
Right.
It's like, so let's just make Wolverine movies. They made 2 or 3 Wolverine movies. Because they made one where he goes to Japan, right? And
That's the last one before Logan.
He, like, was supposed to lose his, like, healing ability.
Right.
There was one where X-Men Origins was the one where he got his skeleton, his adamantium skeleton and all that. But I feel like there was another one.
And that's such a crazy, like, because I remember, like, in that movie, they were like, look how fucking jacked he is. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, he looks like he's in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the second one,
I
was like, holy fuck.
Whoa.
This dude.
Yeah, he has, like, those, like, ripples on his, like, pecs or whatever.
Like striations or whatever.
That you only get from being dehydrated. Yeah. I think he's gone on record several times talking about, like, just how he felt like such shit filming that movie. Like, specifically, he talks about the part where he's in, like, the little bath or whatever, and he stands up out of the bath and whatever it does. He's like, because he's so fucking shredded.
There's
like,
no fucking water retention, like, at all.
No body fat. Nothing. He's just pure muscle. And he's like, every time I see that scene, he's like, all I can think about is how I felt like I was going to die.
I was like, you see, like, the bodybuilders that get up on stage and, like, they're all, like, deathly ill.
Yeah.
While they're on, like, cramping.
They're like a foot in the grave with their own stage.
Yeah, they're, like, in horrific shape. It is not good.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I could go on about how Logan is the best entry into that entire franchise by a fucking long shot.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about it ad nauseum.
Out of the X-Men movies,
point,
for sure.
Which is actually, that's why I like that he's reprising the role. Ryan Reynolds got him to reprise the role for this next Deadpool movie. Yeah. And they're making him wear the suit.
with the big wings?
Yeah.
That's something I feel like I see a lot well, I haven't really watched a lot of superhero stuff recently, but, like, when I was watching, like, Luke Cage and all those things, I feel like that was a trope for a while, whereas they would have, like, the character would wear, like, the original costume from their comic books, which obviously looked very silly.
Yeah, in real life it
goofy. Doesn't translate.
Yeah.
And then, like, the character would make a comment. Like, I remember, like, Luke Cage specifically looks like this is going to sound horrible, but Luke Cage looks like what a superhero slave would look like. That's what he looks like in the comics. And so he's dressed like that in the show, and he sees like a reflection of himself. He's like, "You look like a damn fool."
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, you didn't have to have him belittle the original idea. Like, you could have just been like, "Oh, that looks."
Yeah, this looks is fucking goofy.
Remember when he looked like this? Yeah. I don't know. I think that you gotta respect where it all started.
Right.
In the 60s was when all those like superhero comics started, and they were so dumb.
Oh yeah,
they were so fucking stupid. Superman's original power used to be that he could do anything. Yeah. Like, he had all the powers.
Right.
It was like when you were like,
they had to like write in.
They had to write in like, okay, we got to rein this in. What are his set powers?
Right.
Because there was like one like comic where he like turned into like a lizard man. He was like, I can become a lizard.
He's like out sunbathing.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, okay.
Like licks his eyeball.
But they still managed to keep him pretty OP.
Well, I mean, didn't they have to like, what's his weakness? Kryptonite? Like, didn't they have to like write in kryptonite so that he would have a weakness?
So there would be something for him to struggle
Right.
against. Like, it's, how do you have, like, there can never be any stakes with him.
Right.
Because nothing can hurt him.
Well, I mean, that's why
the stakes have always got to be other people. Like,
Right.
how does he navigate the challenge of saving so-and-so?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why Batman is such an interesting character. Why a lot of people like Batman.
Yeah, because he can be hurt.
Because he's just a dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's really rich.
Yeah.
But I mean, you couldn't have like Trailer Park Man.
Trailer Park Man.
He like comes out with like
Cletus.
He comes out with like a bunch of beer bottles and like
Like a sawed-off shotgun. I feel that his type of vigilantism might be skewed one direction.
You think? Well, was it? It wasn't in The Boys where one of them, it was like the one guy, he's like, "Why are you only patrolling black neighborhoods?"
Yeah, he was like, "I can't help us where the crime is." It was
was it Blue Falcon?
Blue Hawk.
Blue Hawk, yeah,
I think
Blue
it
Hawk.
was. Yeah. That was I like the way the A-Train killed him. He like snatched him up by the leg and he just ran.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
like drug him across the pavement or whatever.
Yeah, was that at the superhero orgy that they were having?
Yeah, what was it called? They called it something.
Yeah,
it was
there was
like
a name for it.
Hero orgy or something like that.
Yeah.
Orgy.
Orgy.
I don't remember, but I do remember that show is the first time I have ever seen a butthole on a TV show. Yeah. And I was like, because it's so striking. Because it's shot from the angle of a toilet bowl. You're looking up at a butthole. And I'm like, I've seen boobs in TV shows.
Yeah.
And with Game of Thrones, I've seen wieners and vaginas. Yeah. I was like, but this is the first time I've just been a fucking butthole.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't see a butthole that often.
No.
Like, it's very rare that you see a butthole.
Yeah.
And when you see one, you're like, ah.
That's alarming.
You're like, what is that?
I think that new season's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. I know that they had like the Generation V, which was supposed to be...
It was like a spin-off show?
It's supposed to be like a prequel to like the new season or whatever.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't either. I'm not really interested in the spin-off show.
Yeah. Did you watch any of the animated one? It's called The Boys... God, my memory's so bad tonight. I don't remember what the tagline is. It's like The Boys something. There's like a tagline.
Yeah.
But it's like an animated version of it. It's pretty good. I've seen some clips of it. I was using it to scratch the Invincible itch.
Yeah.
Which, are you caught up on Invincible yet?
I haven't. I just haven't had time.
You do know that there's only 4 episodes, right?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Because... well, I don't know why, because... But
just because.
There are only 4 episodes.
No.
And we're supposed to get the rest of them, the other 4 episodes, which would total 8 for this season, at the beginning of this year, I think. Like sometime in like February or March maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, it's been, 3 years?
It's been a while.
It's been 3 years since like the first season. And I was like, how in 3 years do you only have 4 episodes done?
Were the creators and the writers just busy on other projects, or?
I don't know. Well, there was that strike for a while.
Oh,
but
was it the SAG strike?
The SAG after strike or whatever. That may have had something to do with it. But Invincible is not...
You have the source material.
Well, I mean, yeah. It's also like the animation on the show is not like mind-blowing.
No.
Like there are several parts where like it's literally just like characters are like tweened across, like it's still image sliding across the screen. Right. Like they take a lot of shortcuts.
Right.
Like you remember like in the first season when Mark and Omni-Man are fighting in the city. There's a lot of scenes where like the people running away are like CGI.
Yeah.
It's just like an asset that they have of people running away from a thing. Like, just put it in the scene and no one will notice. They do the same thing in that scene and the same thing with the train scene.
Right.
So it's like, you guys aren't doing something that's like as artful as, for instance, Attack on Titan.
Right.
Like that took as long as it did for a good reason.
Right.
I was like, your show, on the other hand, I don't get 3 years for 4 episodes.
Right.
Like, really?
Right.
What happened?
Like you're not doing like groundbreaking, like artistic.
Yeah.
It's not an endeavor here.
No,
like,
it's just not. Yeah. This is more for the story.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's not like you're writing the story. Like there's source material.
You already have that
to work with.
Yeah.
Like now you just have to scan through it and pick out stuff and arrange it in such a way that you're accurate storytelling, but you can't just take I mean, you probably could, but you couldn't just take like, here's one issue of the comic.
Yeah.
And just like, we're just going to tell the story this way.
Do it shot for shot.
Right.
Scene for scene. Anybody who has any idea of what all it takes to do that would be listening to this and be fuming. Because we're like, here's how you do it. We've never made a show.
You big fucking idiot.
Bunch of retards. Can't make an animated show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the boys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I just like that show for some reason. There's something about it.
I like it too. I think I like everything that it has to say.
Yeah.
And like, I understand that, it is an extremely political show and it's very left-leaning.
No.
It is extremely left-leaning. I still really like it because it's fun and it's a good show. And I like the way that it's written. I like the characters. I like everything about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like I said previously, like, you can have a show that's very left-leaning that I don't agree with, but, like, as long as, like, you're intelligent about your writing, like, I'm in. Like, I really don't give a shit. Like, I just want a good show.
Yeah. It's amazing what a little bit of good writing will do.
Right.
Tonight, me and Mary were watching, the Terminator movie, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene in that movie where John Connor's father in the first movie, it's his father in the first movie, his father comes back in time to save Sarah Connor. And there's like this little bit of an exposition dump where he's explaining to her the story. And I was like, the reason that works is because she has no reason to know any of what he's telling her. Everything he's telling her is brand new information for her and us. Right. I was like, but if you have two characters have a full-on conversation about shit that they both already know, then it's annoying. Then it's a shitty expository dialogue because then I'm like, well, they both already know this.
Right.
So the only person you're talking to is me.
Right.
It's like you can do better than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think that's why a lot of people like Deadpool. Is because with Deadpool he breaks the fourth wall and he talks directly to the audience.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of meta stuff going on there. Yeah, I ever since I watched the Batman movies, the Christopher Nolan ones back when I had COVID, I posted a short clip of one of the movies where it was like the worst expository dialogue I'd ever seen.
Which one is it?
It's where Catwoman, she pins that guy down and she's like, "Where's the clean slate?" And he's like, "The clean slate? Where you type in someone's name and date of birth and it erases everything about them?"
Yeah.
I was like, that's so bad. I was like, she knows what it is. You know what it is.
Yeah.
Why are you explaining to her?
She's like, "Oh, fuck, not that one."
Yeah. It'd be like if I was like, "Wesley, could you go get such and such out of my car?" And you're like, "The car? Do you mean the machine that uses gas to create explosions to propel itself along the road?" I would look at you and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Oh, the very same.
Oh, yes, that one.
Yeah, I mean, was that the second one? No, that was the third one.
I think it was the third one. Yeah, it was the third one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the third one because that was the third one because he comes back in that one after Bane breaks his back. Out of those three movies, the second one's the best.
You think so?
It's been a
With
while.
Joker?
It's been a while since I've watched the first one. I don't really remember too much about the first one, but
Yeah. Well, I think I agree with you. Yeah, out of those three, I think the second one is the best. I think Heath Ledger's Joker has a big part of it.
Just for the simple fact of Heath Ledger's Joker in that movie.
Yeah, it's really hard to take Bane seriously.
Yeah,
because he talks like this.
Yeah.
I'm Bane.
Yeah.
Oh, I wondered what would break first, your spirit or your body. Sounds so fucking dumb. Who told him that sounded good? Fucking Tom Hardy. What are you doing, man?
Which is so crazy because Tom Hardy's a good actor.
He's a good actor. Yeah. Like, what happened?
Yeah, what are you doing?
He's funny in the Venom movie.
I actually like the Venom movie.
I like the Venom. I like both of them. I think they're both really good. Well, they're okay. Let me back up. They're not really good.
Yeah,
but they are. They're good. They're serviceable movies
for what they are.
For what they are, they're
supposed to be.
I feel like both of those movies would have benefited from being rated R.
Yeah,
I feel like
there are certain franchises that need to be rated R.
Yeah,
Wolverine.
Right.
You know,
like the new RoboCop movie that came out was PG-13.
For what reason? Have you not seen the old one?
Yeah. The first one's pretty
where
rough.
They're shooting him with fucking shotguns.
They're blowing chunks of a man away with shotguns. They're laughing. You're like, fucking hell.
Yeah, I mean, there's just certain franchises, like, they just need to be rated R. I mean, you need to understand what the franchise is and just move along. Yeah. Instead of trying to cater to a younger audience. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
It was like with the new Dredd movie that came out.
Yeah.
The new Judge Dredd movie or whatever. That one was rated R. And for good reason. I mean, like, there's, like, drug use and violence. And it's like, it would have been really dumb if that was PG-13 and they had to, like, tiptoe around all that shit. Right. It would have made for a boring movie.
Right.
It would have made it for a boring movie. It would have had a lot of dumb plot holes.
Right. Well, I mean, like, that's one of the reasons why Logan was so good. Like, it was the Wolverine movie that everybody wanted that movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Just fucking wanton violence.
Yeah.
It's like I think people who don't read comics or aren't familiar with comics, especially with the Wolverine comics, have no idea how violent and graphic comics are.
Like current day, yeah.
Like there's one comic where Hulk and Wolverine are fighting, and Hulk like grabs Wolverine in both hands and like skins him. And like he just tears all the meat off of his like adamantium skeleton or whatever. Yeah. And Wolverine's like just a skeleton. And then like he has to like grow his body back. And I was like, in the comics, it's like you're like, oh god, oh my god. I was like, they couldn't do something like that in a PG-13 movie.
Right.
Yeah. I like the first Hulk movie that came out
Where it was just like
because he's so green.
Yeah,
he's
and there's
so
like no
fucking
Hulk
green.
for like the first 7/8 of the movie.
Yeah.
You get Hulk for like the last 15 minutes, and it's so dark.
Yeah.
They're just trying to cover up that horrific CGI.
That horrible CGI. Yeah, it makes sense why it's so dark
Yeah.
when they get to the where they're in like the underground lab or whatever.
Yeah.
And like he breaks free and he's just as green as he can be.
Yeah, especially like when he gets like he has that it's like was it like out in the desert where he like smashes that tank up.
Yeah.
He's pretty fucking green.
Yeah.
Like the concept of the end of that movie was actually, I think it could have been pretty good, like if they would have remade it, if they would have made that movie today.
Yeah.
Because like they have the computers now in order to make it somewhat believable.
Yeah.
At least you're not looking at that.
Yeah, like current Hulk has like chest hair.
Right.
Like and like a little bit of arm hair,
Right.
And like they made him like really resemble Mark Ruffalo. And it's kind of like, the Hulk is kind of supposed to look like the Hulk.
Right.
In
He's
my
not
opinion.
supposed to look like Bruce Banner.
He's not supposed to resemble.
It's a totally different thing.
He's a completely different guy altogether.
Yeah.
He's the Hulk.
Well, it's like, who was it? Who was the main villain in the first one? It was...
The first Hulk movie, it was Absorbing Man. I guess the main villain would have been the army guy. The general guy.
No, the guy that he fights at the end where he fights the three dogs.
Well, the three dogs was in the middle of the movie. The guy he fights at the end is Absorbing Man, supposed to be his dad.
I thought that was a totally different... Isn't there supposed to be like another like Hulk type figure?
You talking about Abomination?
I thought he was
That was in the
Abomination.
Edward Norton one.
Oh, was that in the Edward Norton one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense now. See, like, I don't know. Like,
That's the Hulk movie that's canon with the current MCU.
So we're just gonna ignore that.
I'm pretty sure they just ignored the first one.
They're just gonna ignore that Edward Norton was.
It's like the Lou Ferrigno Hulk stuff.
And they're just gonna ignore that Edward Norton was
a totally different dude.
Was
Yeah.
Bruce Banner.
Yeah. Well, they recast Rhodey.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that's kind of like immersion breaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but
yeah, it's really hard to accept that a recast.
Yeah.
And that I feel like that puts like writers and directors, people trying to make a movie, puts them in a real weird spot.
No.
Especially if you have an actor who like dies like in the middle of filming something, like what happened with Carrie Fisher.
Oh yeah.
And was it Return of the no? What was the three sequel
Whatever
movies?
episode 8 was.
The middle one.
Yeah.
She died like in the middle of that, and then they CGI'd the rest of her. And then like in the last movie, they just used CGI Carrie Fisher with like canned lines. Like obviously they don't have any new lines because she's fucking dead. Yeah. And so they just used like these like old audio recordings, so she couldn't ever have like an actual conversation with anybody. They would have the characters come up and say things to her that she could only respond to with like yes or no.
Yeah.
And it's like, just let her be dead.
Yeah. We could go on about that fucking franchise, but
we're running out of time, so we need to get into our Super Cringe Thursday. But before we do that, hello everybody. This is episode. What episode is this? 93?
Is it 93?
It might be.
I feel like
it's
was
either 93 or 92.
I thought it was 92.
It might be 92. Let me take a quick look, and I will be able to tell you. It's episode 92.
92. I was about to say, I didn't think it was episode 93.
We had every intention of having an episode to you guys last week. Unfortunately, we were not able to do it. The family went on a little vacation up to Gatlinburg. We all stayed in a cabin up there.
It was nice.
And it was nice. And I took all the recording equipment, and Wesley took his laptop, and we were going to record on location episode, but the cabin didn't have Wi-Fi.
Yep.
The Wi-Fi was busted the whole time we were there, and we couldn't download like drivers that we needed for the interface and yada yada. It just didn't happen.
Wasn't gonna work.
But we tried, and that's what matters.
Right.
We made the effort.
Yeah. You people know what this is now. You've been here long enough.
Yeah, you know how this goes.
Yeah, you know how this goes.
But yeah, we had a good time up there. Mary woke me up in the middle of the night to go look at bears because there were bears on the back porch. It was that first night. That was the first night.
Yeah, the first night. Yeah, because somebody had left some fucking shrimp.
Yeah, the people who were like in the cabin before us, like I guess had a low country boil and threw all the shrimp off the back porch. So it's just all this shrimp like back by in the middle of bear country.
No.
And of course we grilled hamburgers and hot dogs that night. And Mary woke me up at like 1:30 in the morning, and she's like, "Gary, I hear something." And Mary does that to me all the time.
No.
And I was like, "Okay, honey."
Like, sure you
I was
do.
like, "Okay, whatever you say, dear." And then I heard it, and I was like, "Fuck, there really is something."
No.
And so we both went upstairs, and I flipped the lights on to the back porch, and there's just this fucking brown bear ass, or black bear ass, right there on the back porch, and he was eating the grease off of the drip tray from the grill. And I was like, that plus all that shrimp, like bears around here must take some wicked shit. This bear just like, oh my god. Have you ever had a shit where you had to do like this number, like you just kind of lean in?
Speaking of Gatlinburg, did you see the flooding that they had down there on the strip?
That was impressive.
It was like coming like up over the bridge they have right there.
That was like 2 days after we left.
Yeah, that bridge I think is like as you're coming into like the strip where downtown Gatlinburg is. It's
on the right.
It's like on the right, so
right by the mall.
Yeah, it's like right in front of the mall. Like it splits right there. We can like go around the back side. Yeah, I think right.
Yeah, over towards like the aquarium.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah, so when we were there,
some rapids.
When we were there, that water was like a stream coming through, and then when 2 days later, it was like the water was like up over the bridge. It was like washing shit away.
Because I was like looking, like there was like it looked like a store, maybe like a restaurant or something that's right there on like the little riverfront, and it looked the waves, to whatever the waves were, or the river was like coming up like near the fucking window. Like of this restaurant. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's some flooding because of all the rain and stuff, and I think coming down off the mountains and everything. So,
well, I think there's like some big winter storm that's coming in from like the northwest. Mm-hmm. It caused. I know that particular. Mary was telling me about it. It caused an avalanche at some ski resort and like killed somebody.
Really?
Yeah, like with it like last week or so.
Well, I know with the football games tonight, they were the one in Kansas City. Was -4 with a wind chill of -30.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Everything fucking hurts.
Oh, I've only ever experienced like negative degrees, I think like once in my life. That is a whole other kind of cold, man. That is something else.
I've been out like -25.
Ugh.
In Wisconsin, like near the lake, with
the wind coming off the lake.
Whipping off the lake.
Fuck.
And like once it gets that cold, it's just fucking pain. I mean, it doesn't feel any more cold.
It just hurts.
It just fucking hurts.
Yeah. It's like if you've ever jumped into like really icy cold water, like it feels kind of like being stabbed. Like all over your whole body all at once.
Well, I think the game tomorrow is in Buffalo, New York. I think they pushed it back to Monday, but it was supposed to be tomorrow. And I think they were supposed to be in the negatives too.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a blizzard. And I think they were supposed to get like a foot's worth of snow during the game.
Like over the course of the game?
Over the course of the game.
Jeez.
And then it was supposed to be like winds of up to 65 miles an hour.
That's crazy. But
and they were just like, we can't play a football game with this.
Yeah. It's interesting, like, up there, they get weather like that, but they're kind of equipped to handle it with, like, the machinery they had to, like, clear the roads and shit, and, like, they salt the roads and everything.
If that happened here,
yeah.
everyone would die.
We are not equipped to handle that shit.
Like, do you remember, I think it was, like, 2017? No, it would have been
2018. Going that big snow we had, yeah, because that happened the first year we were married here. Yeah.
So I think it was like right at the end of 2017, like near Christmas time.
Yeah,
because I remember I was in Gainesville and I had to drive back.
Yeah,
and they were like, "You need to leave now to go home."
Yeah,
and I was driving that shitty Colorado.
Oh,
and by the time so I was like, I'm not going to take 285 like across the top of Atlanta.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to go through like Altoona and like the back roads back home. Like maybe I'll beat the snowstorm there. And I fucking didn't.
Yeah.
And so I'm driving in like 8 inches of snow and I don't know where, I can't see the fucking road.
Yeah.
And so like I'm coming down 61, like going past like mom and dad's house and it's just that hill.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah, and I just like took my foot off the gas and was like trying to
mitigate the damage.
It's like, because if I start sliding, I just try to get right in the middle of the road.
Yeah,
because I'm the only person out.
Right, no one else is driving in this shit.
I can't get any traction. The truck's just sliding down this fucking hill, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get to the bottom of this hill.
Yeah,
because I don't know if I'm gonna make it up the other side of the hill.
Yeah.
This truck doesn't have 4-wheel drive.
You might just be stuck at the bottom of this hill.
It's like all I have is like front wheel drive on this truck. It's just a fleet truck.
Yeah.
Like there's no weight in the ass end. I can't.
The only thing underneath all that snow is a layer of ice on the roads.
Right.
Because these roads never see salt.
No.
They never see that snow melt shit. Because, when does it ever snow? Last time it snowed was 5 years ago.
Right. I mean, even, like, at our house, like, I measured it with, like, a tape measure. We had, like, 14 fucking inches of snow in the backyard. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Every now and then we just get slammed out of nowhere. Like, what was the one that they hit real hard and they called it Snowmageddon? Remember that? It, like, all those people got trapped on I-20.
Yeah, Dad was trapped on 20, wasn't he? Or no, he made it back to the shop.
Yeah.
I think he spent the night at the shop.
I know Mary's dad got stuck on I-20.
Really?
Yeah, he got stuck. He had to sleep in his truck. But he drove like a truck, so
yeah.
I think he was okay. But yeah, like people were like just getting out and leaving their cars. Like, I have to get to my house. Like, yeah.
I guess, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, but like if you live where we live and like you get trapped like over near like Six Flags Drive, like where are you going to go?
Yeah. Like, I think there's like a La Quinta Inn there, like off that exit.
You go stay at the La Quinta?
La Quinta. Yeah, you're not walking all the way home.
No.
You die of exposure.
You'd be better off waiting in that fucking car.
Yeah, just wait there. Like, hopefully you don't starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I was living at the apartment when that happened.
Yeah.
And I remember because I walked from the apartment to Quick Trip up there on the other side of the water tower there. And, like, I tried to walk up the hill, that little, like, back hill, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That, like, goes up behind Walmart there.
Up right there.
Yeah. And I got, like, kind of almost to the top of it, and I slipped. And I fell down on my face and slid all the way back down the hill.
Just like laid there.
And I was like, fuck. So when I got back to the apartment, like, my face was all scratched up. I was like, it didn't go well.
I remember, I think it was the year before I left to go to the military. So that would have been 2010. Yeah, so it would have been 2010. That Christmas it snowed. And we lived in the apartments that were right across from Walmart, going like back towards the car dealership there. Like if you come from Walmart, just go straight across those apartments right there.
Right.
And I remember there's a hill in that apartment complex, and it just fucking iced over. We're like, you can't get a fucking car up this thing. Yeah. So we walked to the Walmart because we had to get something to eat. And so we like bought groceries, and we're like, well, we just took the fucking cart back to the apartment and just left it outside.
You said just buggied all your shit back to your apartment.
It's probably still over there to this day.
Yeah, probably. I know that, every time I drive past that neighborhood in town, the one that's like, if you take that road behind Walmart and you're like taking it down towards Villa Rica, like across from the police station.
Yep.
Like once you go over the I-20 overpass, on the left-hand side there's like a little neighborhood, and they had the steepest fucking like the hill to get in there is like I mean it is.
And it's just a fucking culvert at the bottom.
It's unbelievable, and I think like at the bottom of the hill there's like a house right there. So if anybody like went to go down that hill and like lost their brakes, they're coming right through your fucking living room. Yeah, but like at that place, I mean, if the road ever iced over right there, you would never get out of there.
No.
Ever.
Like, sorry, I can't come into work today.
Yeah. It's like I'm down in a bowl.
Yeah.
Like, would not get out of here. Yeah.
I guess before we run out of time, you want to do Super Cringe Thursday?
Yeah, so why don't you take it away since you're the one who found it?
Okay.
It's shocking. When I first opened up the video, it's kind of like a jump scare.
It is pretty shocking. I've seen this individual...
Have you ate your nightmares?
Before. I mean, I think he was just... This person likes to sing. And if you've listened to this podcast for any amount of time, when we've started this Super Cringe Thursday, there's something about people singing in public that I just can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's like your kryptonite.
Right. Like, and this guy doesn't have a bad voice.
No, I mean,
it's
his singing ability is not what's being scrutinized.
No.
It's his other choices.
Yeah, like, standing on a fucking picnic table in the middle of a public park and belting out. I don't know any of the words he's saying. He might as well be speaking fucking German.
He says, and I heard him say Skibidi at some point.
What is that?
And...
What is that?
All I know is that that's like the current like Zoomer humor thing. It's got something to do with a toilet, something called Skibidi toilet. I don't know. That's all I know. That's the extent of my knowledge on the matter.
I don't know. I
heard him say Riz. I heard him say Riz something or another.
2016 was weird too because memes kind of fell in on themselves.
Yeah.
And there was like Lord Farquaad, and it was like this grainy footage with
the deep fried memes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that about?
And it was like just the letter E at the bottom of it.
Yeah, E.
Fuck is this?
Yeah, kids were like, check it out, E. Oh, man.
Oh. But anyway, so this guy's like standing on a fucking picnic table in the middle of a public park and is singing words that I don't know. And I really fucking Edward Scissorhands.
I was going to say Edward Scissorhands. That's what he looks like. He looks like Edward Scissyhands.
Edward Scissyhands.
Edward Rizzy Hands. He looks like what Edward Scissorhands would like digivolve into, like the next like thing,
So he's. I don't know how to explain it.
That's all it is. It's just him dressed as like this fucking insane looking thing, and he's shouting Skibidi and Riz and all these other. It's important to note he's singing in the style of like
My Chemical Romance,
like alt emo kind of rock, like that kind of like voice break kind of thing that they would all do.
Nasally.
Yeah. So he's singing like that.
Yeah.
So all these pieces come together. They form this horrible cringe pie that we all witnessed.
Ugh.
Even if it's for a bit, there was,
I don't think it's a bit.
He had to wake up and he had to put on all this shit and grab his tripod and his camera and drive to the park. and like walk past some families.
Yeah, trying to have a nice like afternoon out
with their kids, and the dog, and then all of a sudden like some fucking StarCraft villain comes walking through the fucking park.
I don't think it's a bit because
Do you think it's in earnest?
I think it's in earnest because I've seen this person on a couple of different shorts on YouTube, like in different areas, like, and that's not the only one that he filmed there.
Oh, so he like Banksy? He just kind of appears.
Yeah, so he does.
Is he always dressed like that?
Yeah, he's always dressed like that, and he's got like wings on his back.
Yeah, something like that.
And there's like he's singing another song.
Yeah,
this is just an extension of what he has already done. And he's on the same fucking picnic table, and he finishes up, and the fucking wings close like a fucking dragonfly or some shit, like a shitty fucking emo dragonfly.
From a purely like cosplay standpoint, it's pretty impressive.
He's obviously put a lot of work into whatever the fuck this is.
Whatever his little costume is. Yeah. I mean, bravo. He did a good job on it. Like, too bad it's kind of cringe.
But, yeah, so I don't think it's a bit because he's like, there's that and there's like another one where he's like outside of like a fucking Capitol building or something.
Yeah, like some government building.
Yeah, like singing. What the fuck is going on here? Like, I don't understand.
I have things I do. Like,
right.
Is this just the thing you do? Like, there's no other thing you do? I have lots of things I do.
All I can assume, and I don't have the app, I don't know what the fuck goes on TikTok. I'm assuming this is a TikTok thing.
Yeah, it must be.
It has to be.
Yeah.
There's just no other explanation for this.
There was a guy, he was going around, people were making fun of him on Twitter because he filmed himself, he did a TikTok of himself going on a Target run. So he filmed himself like walking into Target, shopping in like the aisles and like bagging things up, but like with like a tripod. And like, so he like would have to like set up his little tripod in the parking lot and get a shot of him walking like into the building,
and then went back
and then have to come back outside and get it and bring it all into the store. And it was like, when you kind of consider like the behind the scenes production asset of this or aspect of this whole thing, it's really cringy. Like, and like, don't you have any like shame? Like,
what's that thing I'm thinking of? Oh yes, shame.
I just wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't do it. No. I wouldn't do it.
I don't know. Just the longer we have the internet, the more I think it was a bad idea.
And what would make you think anyone cares? I
mean, somebody's gonna be watching it.
How is that content for people? Watch this guy go to Target.
Well, it's sort of like I was like scrolling through Instagram, and I found there was like a fishing page that I follow, and they posted a thing about this guy, and he's like an older guy, and he's got a YouTube channel, and like he like does like informational, like, here, I'm gonna fish, I'll teach you about fishing and all this stuff. And like he does self-filming, like he'll catch fish or whatever, and like films like his day out,
right,
or whatever. And the dude had like 20 followers, and he's had the YouTube page for like a year and a half.
Right, so this is a hobby.
Yeah, just a hobby.
Yeah.
And so, but then like this person posted this, and then within like 2 days, he had like over 1.2 million followers.
Jeez.
So, but like he's like giving like information, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, here's how you like bait the hook. Like, here's the lure that I use for these certain types of fish. It works best like this.
Here's how to avoid the game warden.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like stuff like that as opposed to like, I'm going to go on my Target run.
Yeah. Here, watch me get socks.
Yeah.
Watch me buy Special K.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to go buy this Funko Pop.
I don't get it, dude. I don't understand, like, I guess we just aged out of it. I think that you age out of it regardless of whether or not you want to. like, I'd said it before on the show, like, when I grow up, I'm going to keep up with all the trends and I'm not going to let anything get past me. I'm going to be cool forever. Yeah. And I just, like, when I think about myself in these situations, I'm like, I would look so fucking dumb if I did that shit. Like, I think it just changes. I think what youth is, you lose it one day, and then like it just completely changes.
Well, it's like that Simpsons quote where he's like, "No, man," he's like, "I'm always gonna." It's like Homer talking to his dad.
Oh, he was like, I used to be with it, but then what it was changed and was different, and scary to me, and it'll happen to you too. It's true.
Yeah, it's like the older I get, the more I find it's like, I just don't fucking care. I don't care. I just don't fucking care.
It's like I have like a cardiologist appointment. Yeah. Like I don't. I can't be worrying about Skibidi toilet and Riz and whatever else the kids are talking about these days.
I mean, there's like so many. Like I'll see like a post or something. There's all these words. I don't know any of these words.
Like, all the new words. I'm like, what? What are we doing? What is this?
Why are people constantly coming up with new fucking words? We have all the words we fucking need. We don't need any fucking new ones.
I hate when slang terms get added to the dictionary.
Oh, that makes me so fucking mad.
That pisses me off. Because it's such validation for them that I'm like, it feels like another loss in the culture war. Like I'm pretty sure Riz is in the dictionary.
Ugh.
Which I mean, wasn't Riz just
Riz?
It was short for charisma, right?
Fuck, I don't know.
I think that's what it was. Like if you have Riz. Or if you riz up someone, that means you like used your charisma in order to gain their affection.
I don't fucking know. It seems to me it's the exact same fucking thing as swag.
Swag. Yeah, it is.
From 2014.
Yeah.
It sounds like the exact same fucking thing.
Riz and swag are the exact same thing.
We have just changed the word.
Yeah. I like that there are some slang words. They're kind of timeless, like dude.
No.
I think dude's always going to be around.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, dude, what's up, dude? What the fuck are you doing, dude? Or like, y'all. Well, that's like a southern thing. But I feel like more people have, like, I think y'all kind of made its way into, like, the cultural lexicon.
Yeah.
Like, nationwide.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, all it is an abbreviation of you all.
For you all.
How you address a group of people. Yeah.
Right. This is an easier way of saying you all. And it's not as like you all just seems very like
very clunky. Yeah, very, very clunky. Like, did you all go to the store today?
Right.
Like, why did you say that?
What?
Yeah, are you a robot?
You know that there's some people that say yins.
Yins. I've heard yins. Yep.
I remember I heard that one time. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yep. I've heard yins before. That's like that's really old Southern, like.
I heard this from somebody that was from Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like that's like northern.
You think that's a northern thing?
Yeah. I think there are sections of the north
I was going to say,
yins.
I've heard that mostly from old Southern black people is where I've heard yins.
I heard it from somebody that was from Pittsburgh. Maybe they moved up there or whatever.
Maybe there's some overlap in the language. I don't know. I like that there are a lot of slurs that will stand the test of time, and a lot of curse words. Like fuck, obviously, is like the ultimate curse word because it has so many varying applications, very permutations and combinations of the word.
A verb. An adjective.
And it's such a good, like, it has such a good punch.
Yeah.
And it has a good dismount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck. It's the perfect thing to say if you, like, stub your toe.
Right.
Or get in a car crash.
Right.
Like, it works in both, those settings.
Is it that SpongeBob episode? Is a spicy sentence enhancer?
Spicy sentence enhancers. There is per Tom Kenny himself, the voice of SpongeBob, when they filmed that episode, or when they recorded that episode. Excuse me. We're recording late. They were in the recording booth. They were actually cursing.
Oh, really?
Because, when somebody says, like, I'll give you an example. If I said the word, like,
Yeah.
you want a lot of F and you want a lot of S at the beginning and end.
Yeah.
That way, when you put in your censor bar, the comedy is the fact that you know what they said,
Right.
but it was censored.
Right.
So, in that episode, they're actually cursing because it sounds better than like if they just made up a bunch of gibberish,
Right.
or they stopped themselves from speaking.
Right.
Like if you stop yourself from speaking, it's
It
hard
kinda
to make it
breaks
sound natural. Yeah.
I would love to hear the uncensored version of it.
So there's like a black tape floating around the Nickelodeon headquarters.
Nice.
Of like Tom Kenny and Patrick, or SpongeBob and Patrick and Mr. Krabs, like just cursing. I love Clancy Brown so much, like the voice of Mr. Krabs. But like Mr. Krabs' voice is so fucking funny to me. I don't know what it is. Like it's because he talks like a pirate or something. I don't know. But there was this short-lived meme that was going around where there would just be like a video of like a crab just doing something, and then something awful happening to the crab. Like there's like one where like a crab is like crawling across like a kitchen counter, and he falls in a pot of boiling water.
Yeah.
Or like one where like a crab is like walking across and he gets eaten by an octopus.
No.
But the meme was like whenever the crab's doing something normal, it was just Mr. Krabs' voice going, money, 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 like that. And then like when something horrible happened, it was this blood-curdling scream that was like clipping the mic. And for 5 weeks, it was like my favorite meme. And I would constantly look up videos of it and just die laughing at all of them. It was so funny.
Memes are weird like that. Like, you'll have some that just go on and on and on for, like, months at a time.
Yeah.
And then you'll have some that just, they would last
like
for...
flash in the pan.
Yeah, flash in the pan type deal.
Yeah. It's always so cringy when you see somebody trying to force a meme.
Yeah.
And you're like...
Dude, it either hits or it doesn't.
It just hits or it doesn't. There's no way to manufacture it.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no way to...
Wendy's tried to do it.
Yeah.
You remember? Eat spicy goodness like a boss.
Yeah. Ugh.
And he made the dumb face.
Yeah.
When corporations try to be hip and cool, it just doesn't work.
Well, not in their defense of their memes, but in defense of their social media team that was running Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but...
Oh yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
Right.
There's been a lot of them that have picked up on it too. Like Opera GX does the same thing. Opera GX is out of control. Yeah. they post some wild shit.
But like Wendy's at the time, like they were just fucking bodying people on the internet.
They started like whoever was like running the like Twitter for Wendy's, actual fucking Wendy's, was just like roasting people on Twitter.
But I mean, like that's kind of funny that they were like, the corporate was like, yeah.
I guess it's working. People are going to Wendy's because of it. I remember there was one thing where like somebody tweeted at Wendy's. They were like, "Hey Wendy's, how many retweets does this need to get so I could get like lifetime nuggets for life or whatever?"
No.
And they told him like 100,000 retweets, and he got 100,000 retweets, so he gets nuggets for life from Wendy's.
Nice.
And then somebody tried to do the same thing. They were like, "Hey Wendy's, how many retweets for a free Frosty?" And they're like, "It's 50 cents." Yeah, it was funny. And then like there was for a while there, like brand Twitter was a thing. Like, you had like Burger King and McDonald's would like tweet at each other.
No.
And it was like kind of sucked all the fun out of it.
No.
It was like, oh, well, that was not fun anymore. You guys made it lame.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if Opera, I haven't looked at their. I'll have to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I just feel like when Wendy's did it, it was more like organic.
Yeah.
And they just had like a rogue employee that was on the social media team,
and it just got away with it.
Yeah.
It just happened to work out.
Right.
No, with Opera GX, it's like I'm pretty sure they posted gay porn or something not long ago. I think they did that. Yeah.
There's like, hey guys, look at this.
Look at this. Use our browser. I think that like the person who's doing it, like Opera GX, whoever's doing it, tweeting for them now is like, it seems very try hard to me.
No.
Like it just doesn't come off as natural.
Right.
It's like they're obviously trying to get like some kind of shock value out of their tweets. So they're like, here's a cock going in an ass. Like, use our browser, I guess.
Like one man, one jar. Right?
Oh. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, like, and then like you would see there was like this phase of like people would make these commercials, and it's kind of hard to describe like the way it was. Like the first people who started doing it was Purple Mattresses. You remember? And they would have like Sasquatch was like their mascot.
Yeah.
And they would like be out in the woods or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, obviously they spent more time trying to like make the commercial funny than actually sell the product.
Right.
And then Dr. Squatch came along and they did the same thing. And then there was another one for some kind of company. I don't remember what the company is, but the commercial itself is like the CEO in like a bathtub. He's like sitting in a bathtub or something like that. But a lot of companies started filming their commercials that way. And it was like, okay, it worked the first time.
Right.
But it's like now when everybody else is doing it.
It's just stale.
It's just stale. And like, you know, the last person to do it is going to look fucking stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, me too.
Yeah. You don't want to be the last one to do a thing. You don't want to be the death rattle of a meme.
Right. Well, it's sort of like, I don't know, I feel like the online businesses are better about that than like the legacy businesses. And what I mean by that is like Walmart isn't going to go out and
suddenly become hip.
Take a chance on like a weird, like, you know, marketing thing.
Like a Logan Paul rebrand or something.
Right. I mean, so you have like...
Or Skibidi toilet.
Right. You're going to have like a bunch of people like, what the fuck is that?
What the fuck is that? What are you talking about? I'm trying to get my prescription. And buy a TV.
Yeah.
In the same store.
Yeah, there's like some 14-year-old behind the counter like working as a pharmacy tech.
He's just like Skibidi Riz. And the old lady is just standing there like, I need my blood pressure medication, young man. He's dressed up like the dude from our fucking Super Chris Thursday post. Yeah, but like a company that got a start on the internet.
Right.
That seems much more natural.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you mean you have like companies that are like tech companies and like companies that start up on the internet. It just seems to more go with sort of like
internet humor
and stuff like that, as opposed to like you're not going to see like
retrofitting Subway to be internet funny.
Right.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
No.
Do you remember the Quiznos commercials?
With the rats?
With the rats? Those...
It was rats, right?
I think they were chinchillas. And
I thought they were
They
rats.
were called like the scum monkeys or something like that.
Ugh.
Something like that. Let me Google it right quick before we get out of here.
I was always very confused about those commercials. I never understood.
What were the Quiznos rats called?
And they like pasted googly eyes on them.
Yeah, it was sponge monkeys, not scum monkeys.
The scum monkeys.
Yeah. They look like deformed rats.
Yeah, it was like a rat somebody ran over in the road. Yeah, it looks like a rat
Yeah.
that somebody splatted on the side of the road.
And the commercial itself looks like something like it looks like a shit post. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
and like they ran with that as like their marketing scheme for a while.
No.
Like the Quiznos rats for like a thing for a while. And it was like, I don't know, I feel like if I had like a failing like sub sandwich store, a deformed rat is not what I would expect to pull me out of the depths
Yes, I
of
won't-
financial ruin.
Yeah, I want people to associate my sandwiches with rats.
Some mutant rat. It was like, Chuck E. Cheese works because, like, Chuck E. Cheese was like a cool, cute character. He didn't look like a fucking mangled corpse. It was like in Chuck E. Cheese had like a fucking eyeball hanging out of his head. Or like he got caught in a mousetrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wouldn't be that funny. The kids would not
That'd
like
be
it.
funny to me. But,
Yeah.
sub sandwich shops are really kind of strange because it's like Quiznos is defunct. I haven't seen a Quiznos in years.
The last one I saw was in college, like in the little area where you could go and get
I don't think I've ever
thing.
even had Quiznos.
So I used to eat it a lot when I was in college.
Yeah.
And it's actually really, really good. It was better than Subway.
Yeah.
I think they just didn't market
Like,
well.
wasn't there a thing like we do hot subs here?
Yeah, it was like we toast subs. That
Right.
was our whole thing. And it was like, Subway was like, well, we can do that. And they got a toaster oven. They're like,
Right.
well, now what now?
But it's like there was that one, and then there was like Schlotsky's Deli
Schlotsky's, yeah, and Blimpie.
in Blimpie. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I don't think they're a thing anymore.
There's still a Blimpie in Hiram.
Really?
Yeah, over near Buffalo Wild Wings. It's like in the next little like
Right.
shopping center.
Well, it's like you have that, and like as opposed to like Jersey Mike's. I've never had Jersey Mike's before.
Jersey Mike's is so fucking good.
Really?
Jersey Mike's is really, really good. Yeah. And we're about to get one in town.
Really?
Over there where they're building that new Publix.
Huh. Is that what's going in front of that?
Yeah, all that.
I
All
heard that was
that.
a Culver's,
Uh,
like sitting right in front of it.
right in front. I don't know what that's
I heard
going to
that's
be.
supposed to be a Culver's.
That sucks. Culver sucks.
I would rather have be like a Freddy's frozen custard and
Yeah.
steak burgers.
Or a Steak and Shake.
Oh, that'd be good.
An actually well-run Steak and Shake, which
Yeah.
I think those don't exist anymore.
No.
But yeah, Jersey Mike's is really good. But that's what that whole thing is going to be. That's a new Publix going in right there.
For what fucking reason?
Well,
What are they going to do with the other one?
The old Publix is supposed to become like a Winn-Dixie or some shit.
Great.
So like a lower income kind of grocery store. Yeah. Yeah, that area of town I think is about to get a little hinky.
It's like
A little squirrely.
it's all the same fucking community. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Then they're building apartments all over the goddamn place.
I mean, it's apartments and like townhomes and shit everywhere.
The apartments going up right behind the high school was a bad idea.
Yeah, that's not.
Let me just go
that's
ahead and
a
say.
fucking bad idea. Well, they're supposed to be building an industrial park down near the elementary school,
Really?
down past where we went to middle school.
Yeah.
Like down past the ball fields and everything down there.
Right.
They're trying to turn that into an industrial park.
There you go. They have a bunch of pollution right there
Yeah,
by the
great.
kids, right there by all the children.
Yeah. After you had a high speed chase, they went into the fucking trailer park the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put some industrial parks over here.
I'm not a city planner, but I feel like apartments behind the high school, like within like spitting distance of like the football field,
Yeah, great.
is not a good
Good
idea.
idea, yeah.
And I don't feel like a bunch of like industry right next to all the children is a good idea
Great.
either. I feel like I could have come up with a better plan.
Yeah, great. So you're going to have a bunch of lot lizards running around near your fucking middle school. Great idea. Just fucking idiots.
I saw a video the other day where a guy was he was driving his truck like down the street with him. All these like lot lizards or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's like he calls out to one of them. He's like, "Hey, how much for some sucky sucky?" And she's like, $100, baby. And he was like, $100, fuck you, bitch. And he just like floors it. And I was just like, man, being a trucker seems so cool.
I don't. That would be a hard job to have.
Being a trucker?
Yeah.
No fucking kid, man. That's a lot of time away from your family.
It's a lot of time, and you have to know the truck. You have to be able to
Yeah.
fix the fucking truck.
And driving.
And
all
driving.
the fucking time.
All the fucking time. It's like, and you fuck going and staying in a hotel room.
Yeah.
That's fucking, you're going to burn money on that?
So you got to sleep in your truck. Yeah.
I mean, you'd just be like, I'm tired of this fucking truck.
Yeah. I can't be in this anymore.
It sounds like a mental breakdown.
You just-
Like in the
It's
middle
like-
of like a city. Like,
it's just like go feral. It's like you're just totally normal 1 second, all of a sudden you're a fucking caveman.
like a stick.
It's like you see you see them driving through town, like having to like take these sharp ass turns and go down
Yeah.
these little roads that weren't meant to have big
Well,
trucks
down that
on them all
road
the
where that
time.
Publix is supposed to be, that's not meant for those trucks.
Yeah, and then they get to the end, and there's that itty bitty little ass
And they
traffic
just, like,
circle.
cut it and just go across the middle of
What
it.
else can they do? That's the only other option. There's no other way to get through town.
There's multiple signs right there that said no trucks
yeah.
over, what is it, 6?
Over 6 wheels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
over 6 wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of signage. Well, I mean, right there in town where they get hung on the railroad tracks all the time.
Oh, yeah.
There's all those fucking signs that are hanging
Right.
and several sign posts, and they constantly get stuck on the fucking railroad
Yeah,
tracks.
but they're like, if you need to cross, you need to go down here
Yeah.
and then cross.
Cross down there. Don't do it right here.
Right.
And everybody's like, no, I got it.
Yeah, like, great.
I remember for the longest time, if you went on Google Maps and you dropped a little dude like right there where that railroad crossing is, there was a truck stuck on the railroad tracks. It's just like all these cops standing around like,
Wasn't it like a few years ago there was one that like was stopped and got hit by a train?
it was
At where they're supposed to cross, but I don't think the guy made it across in time.
Oh, yeah.
Or the truck stalled out.
Yeah.
There was like a bunch of fruit or something.
yeah. I remember that the CCTV camera from the police station actually
Yeah.
caught it. Yeah, they got hit, smashed.
No.
Well, the container portion of it got smashed. But at first I thought you were going to talk about the Mayfield ice cream truck that got hit by a train, and like thousands of gallons of like Mayfield ice cream flew up into the air, and like the whole town ran out, and they were like grabbing all this ice cream off the ground. They like came out from underneath rocks like fucking snakes. Well, I think that's about all we got time for today, everybody. We might have went a little bit over, but that's okay.
You get a little bit extra this week.
Yeah. So as always, if we were wrong about anything, or if you have anything you would like us to talk about, make sure you send us an email or reach out to us on the Facebook page. You can email us at thickboypodcast@gmail.com. We still have some stickers left from forever ago. If you guys still want some stickers, be sure to let us know. We can get those over to you. I don't think I really have anything else I need to close with. Do you have anything?
No, but I was just checking the email real quick to make sure, see if anybody had left us anything.
Yeah.
Other than that one guy that keeps asking to come on the podcast.
Has he emailed us again?
No, it looks like the last time that guy emailed us was last month. Yeah.
Yeah, it's some guy who has like a self-help book, and he wants to come on the podcast.
It's
Like I
very-
said, I think what he does is he sends out a bunch of emails to a bunch of different people
Yeah.
and just sees who bites.
I mean, I guess I don't think he listens to this podcast at all.
I think if he came over here to my house and walked into this room and we were like, go on in,
Yeah.
he would be like, I'm not going in that room. I, in fact, am leaving.
We need help. No, I was just checking the email. I didn't see anything. So, So, I mean, if we said anything that was incorrect or wrong, hit us up on the email or hit us up through Facebook. Let us know. We'll read it out in the next podcast. Since this is episode 92, right?
92, yeah.
So we'll be on 93 next. Hopefully next weekend. We're coming up on 100. And I think probably once we get to 95, we can start talking about.
We'll say what it is.
So we're still gonna be doing something for the 100th episode. I think we're both pretty excited about that. But no, just thank you for the continued support as always. If we're not on your preferred podcast platform, let us know. We'll get there. I think that we're pretty much everywhere right now. And then at some point we'll be on YouTube, and that should help, I think, with people finding us.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep, I just gotta get all those episodes put up there. Which now that I have all the episodes like in one location, I had them on that Google Drive. It's a lot easier to get them onto here and get them uploaded to YouTube rather than having to like I would get one like halfway downloaded off that external hard drive and then like it would fail.
No.
So
we got that coming up. So hopefully we'll be able to get there. Since we're still zucked and we can't.
Yep. We are permanently zucked.
Can't do anything
can't
about
advertise,
trying to reach out to get more subscribers. I did notice that we've got a lot more engagement. Well, we had some different engagement, and I think there's people that I don't know, and I think there's people that you don't know that are interacting with the page, which that's really cool to see.
Yeah,
I really thought that was interesting.
Like natural growth.
Yeah. Somebody posted some pretty interesting stuff as far as the
Jew tunnels.
The Jew tunnels.
I saw that.
They're concerned.
Somebody just popped up and dropped in 2 pictures.
I was like, that's concerning.
Yeah. If you're listening, thanks for posting that. That was a bit concerning.
And then we also saw some growth last year with the podcast, so that was nice.
It was said that our listenership increased 20% last year, which is good.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can continue to see that kind of growth.
I think just slow organic growth is really the way to go.
Yep, like a cancer.
Yep. But yeah, just thank you for the continued support. We appreciate it, and we hope that you're still enjoying the podcast. I'm assuming if you're still here,
you are.
That means that you are, and we appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. Well, that's the podcast, everybody. Thank you and goodbye.